the restoration of lagoon wetlands and coastal vegetation, and an increase in native wildlife for Grey District. The group behind these efforts is Cobden Arohahana Sanctuary and Recreation Areas.
Just use that. Kia ora. Whoever said you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear? The Cobden Arohahana Sanctuary and Recreation Area Group is proof that you can. One small part of the area known as Cobden Island was home to our rubbish tip. It's full of rats, wild cats. It's now teeming with bird life, with flaxes and with native fauna. To tell you more, it is my privilege to introduce Chief Hank and Rob from the Cobden Arohahana Sanctuary and Recreation Area.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Murray Hay, our Deputy Mayor of Greymouth, for that introduction, and many thanks too for Trustpower's continuing support and involvement in what is a feature on the country's Community Awards calendar. It's an honour to stand here today and talk about the little group which I presently convene, that is Aromahana, Cobden Arohahana Sanctuary and Recreation Areas Incorporated, better known and certainly more easily pronounced as CASRA. We came into being as a disparate group of mainly Cobden-based folk who responded to the district's challenge to promote alternative ways of looking at things rather than bewail the end of the coal mining industry and the problems facing the dairy industry. The group determined it would work with Council and with the Department of Conservation in a combined effort to improve the habitat for the regional delicacy that is West Coast whitebait. In conjunction, we aim to help the rehabilitation and development of the area around Cobden Lagoon, which was formerly the town rubbish dump, into a recreation area the town could be proud of. Despite the varied nature of our group, or maybe because of it, the generally handful of folk regularly involved in activities have galvanised together to work towards society's objectives, which are very simple. One, to protect and enhance the sanctuary and recreation areas, and two, to do anything necessary or helpful to the above purpose. So what is it that the CASRA group was awarded the Heritage and Environment Award and Supreme Winner for in the 2016 Trustpower Grey District Community Awards? The citation noted that one of the main aims of the group was to bring back whitebait into Cobden wetlands. In 2013, the Department of Conservation commenced the first stage of channel excavations, and the CASRA group was right there, planting flaxes and other suitable natives on the channel edges. As excavations progressed to the present, there are more than 10,000 natives planted. CASRA is also working with the Grey District Council in planning signage and interpretation panels, helping plant further natives around Cobden Lagoon and across the former Cobden dump area, and supporting the maintenance and enhancement of existing tracks, along with weed control, especially of gorse and blackberry. We have an enthusiastic volunteer checking our predator trap lines across the area every week, no matter what the weather, and all catches are recorded. For a description on just what CASRA is about in terms of development of a whitebait habitat, I'd like to pass you over to Hank Stings, who I see as our Chief Operating Officer in the field when it comes to things whitebait. Hank acts as the coordinator of volunteer groups helping with our projects, as an able secretary of CASRA and a keen volunteer himself. Over to you, Hank.
Thank you, Rob. Whitebait populations in New Zealand have declined because most of New Zealand's wetlands have been drained. We've only got 10% left. That's the green piece in the pie chart. To help reverse this, in Cobden, channels have been dug by excavator, so now they have tidal flow in and out. Those channels now contain huge numbers of adult whitebait, which leads to more egg laying. That should boost the population, be good for conservation, the whitebait catch, and the district's economy. Digging out channels in stages has changed the sanctuary from what you can see in the 2012 photograph compared to June last year. Once the first stage of channels was dug, volunteers stepped in to help with planting. And this is the easy and feel-good part of the job. And the volunteers have included scout groups, schools, polytechnic students, PD boys, the mayor, councillors, local residents, including CASRA members. Now, bare ground that you can see in the photograph, created by dugout soil, contains millions of gorse seed. Now, the whitebait lay eggs under long grass at spring tide, at new moon and full moon, that is about now. Now, if gorse is left to grow, it will smother the up-and-coming grass beside the channels, and those channel sides then become useless for egg laying. And it takes 2 or 3 years of volunteer work to eradicate gorse, either by hand pulling it or by poisoning bigger plants while the grass grows back. Now, I find it quite hard motivating volunteers to keep going past the feel-good planting stage. So I told them about the whitebait life cycle and why weeding is important. And I also set fish traps and show them the contents. I show them the same before and after photographs that you just saw, and some get me to email them to them because they are so proud to be involved with such a project. Those volunteers, they get a real kick out of it, and yeah, I do too. And bars of chocolate, bags of fruit help keep motivation going. So this is the result. Here we see whitebait giving an eel a white birth. At this time of the year, the whitebait gather in large shoals before laying their eggs. Shags, herons, eels and trout come to feed on them. And when you see them around, then you know something's happening. And here's some volunteers who have spent the day cutting gorse around some of our earliest plantings. Thank you. Whoops.
Thanks, Hank. And just to summarise some of our effects, we started with the Cobden dump. That's what we started with. We're now getting some environmental success, which we said we've recorded and shared. 65 stoats, 234 rats at that stage, which was a month or two ago. We record wildlife data on a seasonal basis, generally about every three months or so. We have recorded 59 species in the estuarine areas of the sanctuary, including 18 which are considered by Department of Conservation as threatened species. We've helped with improving recreation with the establishment of an all-weather easy walking track, wheelchair-friendly bridge. We've helped with education through signage. We've had commitment there, at least 1,000 volunteer hours per year, but I think that person there probably does that many. And the achievements, new whitebait habitat, enhancing recreational wildlife areas, education through signage. We're on the way. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.